All right, folks, how you doing? Welcome back. So this is the Knights Templar, Freemasons, and Cabala in Scotland, Part 2. Disclaimer, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. The Book of Judges, so the authors write, quote, by 1250, the Templars had altered their religious creed. They now read from the Book of Judges in the Torah and had formed a new identity, binding themselves to the ancient Israelites. Well, I'm sure many of them were descended from the ancient Israelites, if you're talking about the Bruces, the Douglases, the Sinclairs, etc. New Muslim groups engulfed the Middle East, with the Mongols sweeping in from one side and the Mamelukes attacking from Egypt. By 1290, the Europeans had lost the Holy Land to the Muslims, never to be regained. King Philip of France. So in the early 14th century, King Philip of France expelled his kingdom's Jewish population and confiscated their property, then turned his attention to the Templars. Quote, in collaboration with the Pope, he ordered all French Templars arrested, tried for heresy, and executed. He then promptly appropriated their immense wealth and holdings in France. Some became aware of Philip's plan and escaped with their treasure. Wonder where they went. French Templar treasures. So at the same time, a Muslim colony in southern Italy was evicted by King Charles II and appears to have formed an alliance with the fleeing French Templars. The authors state that the French Templar treasure, quote, loaded upon 18 galleys, made its way to Scotland. The Templars and their treasure took refuge with the St. Clair family at Roslin Chapel. So the authors describe Roslin Chapel as, quote, an edifice filled with images and icons drawn from Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. It contains ample testimony to the sacred geometry of the Jewish Cabala, architectural reflections of the St. Clair family's travels. By the time the Templars arrived, additional Jewish immigrants had made their way to Scotland. Expulsion of the Jews. So the authors remind us of King Edward I's expulsion of the Jews from England in 1290, resulting in many seeking refuge in France and the Low Countries, which resulted in far-reaching consequences. Quote, it is likely that the subsequent expulsion and proscription of Jews in the French kingdom in 1306 caused families with hidden Jewish roots to become even more secretive. Refuge in Scotland. So the authors point out that Normandy was still a part of England at that time, and that an important Jewish community existed there. Quote, many English and French Jews doubtless joined relatives already in Scotland. The emigres could not fail to have included those schooled in the Cabala. Scotland emerged as one of the few safe havens. By the early 1300s, Templars, Jews, and Muslims had likely all sought refuge in Scotland. And that's the end of part 2. So thank you very much for watching, and tune in again for part 3. See you then.